our speaker. Okay. So good evening, everyone. I welcome us all to today's session because just like Tayo said, it is a session that promises to be interesting, enlightening, clarifying. Like it's going to be fun, very, very fun. And just like the keyword on our today's title, topic of today's session, collaboration, a catalyst for social impact. Just like the meaning of the catalyst, something that encourages progress, that promotes. So I feel like we are all here today to learn. Okay, good. So we are all here today to learn from our speaker how we are going to be able to network, how we are able to collaborate with people with common goals so we can achieve our goals. And welcome us all to this session once again. Kindly mute your mics. Kindly mute your mics and pay attention to this session. I am Bello Alima Ayomide, a pharmacy student at University of Ilorin, 500 level, a blooming writer and a jeweler. I sell jewelry, so if you want to buy jewelry, hit me up. So thank you so much and welcome once again. And once again, please mute your mics. We don't want any interruption and disturbance during this session. So our participants for today, you can just share your expectations for today's session. What do you expect? What do you want to gain from today's session? As a person, can you all hear me, please? Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Almas, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good. So our participants for today, I want us to introduce ourselves and tell us about your expectations from the program. At the end of the program, what do you support? What do you want to gain? Personally, as a person, I want to learn how to network better. I want to learn how to be able to meet people that we can share our common goals and achieve them. So what do you want? What do you expect from the session?
Okay, for me, hello everybody. My name is Ifnaya. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Good evening. So for me, what I would like to learn from this program is how to collaborate with people in an online space, because the world is already digital. It's no longer going digital. We're now in the digital world, so you cannot be everywhere at the same time. So most of the things we do are now online. So I'd like to learn how to collaborate better with people in the online world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ifnaya. How to collaborate better in the online world since we are living in a digital world. And I actually believe that by the end of this session, you would be able to do this. You'll be able to learn how to do this better because our speaker is someone of value. He's a student. He was a student with a difference. So does anyone else have any other expectations to share with us today? Okay, so in the absence of none, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker for today is a medical doctor and a global health advocate with over 6 years of experience designing impact-oriented health projects and initiatives across Nigeria. He is Director of Research at Vertex Research Hub, an initiative that trains and mentors research enthusiasts. He is a student ambassador at the Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, United Kingdom, a student editor at the International Journal of Medical Students, and a youth advocate for Africa free of new HIV infections. He was recently selected to attend the Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene 2022 annual meeting in Liverpool, UK. as a travel scholarship awardee. In 2021, he was recognized by the brightest young minds as one of the Africa's brightest young minds whose bold ideas and actions are driving the continent forward. He is a 2020 Thalberg SNF Eliasson Global Leadership Prize nominee. Please raise up your hand, give our speaker for today a round of applause. Accolades, don't just make a noise, use your emoji. Welcome, Dr. Progress Agboola. You can keep using the clapping emoji. Bye.
Hello, good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
so glad to be here this evening, and I must appreciate Farman Incubation Hub and led by Taiwo for the opportunity to be here this evening to talk and share my experiences and share more insights about collaboration as a catalyst for social impact, because it's quite important that we leverage on the power of collaborations, the power of networks and relationships to achieve a long-lasting social impact. Hope I'm audible enough.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible enough.
Without wasting much of our time, we'll begin to what we have for this evening. But then I would love to have like an idea of the audience that we have on this platform this evening. How many of us have like a social enterprise? Just raise up your hand if you like kind of own or co-found a social enterprise. Anybody, you co-found or own a social enterprise? Okay, how many of us are like volunteers with social enterprise or NGOs? How many of us, either you co-found, you own, or you volunteer with an NGO? Okay, we have like 4 hands. Okay. Okay, that means a good number of us are not either volunteers or actively owning an NGO or a social enterprise. But then it's still quite important that we all learn about the act of collaboration to get things done, even if it's not like for a social oriented work. Even like when it comes to our personal and individual lives, like our corporate lives. If you're working in an organization, you need to leverage on teamwork and collaborations to get things done faster and more efficient. Even if you're a student, you need to leverage on the power of collaboration for your projects, for your assignment, and all of that. Oh, can I share my screen? Okay. So I'll be sharing my screen shortly so that we can go fully for what we have for this evening. Just a minute. So as much as possible, let's make the session interactive as much as possible.
Okay, so while we wait for our speaker to share his screen, I would like us all to keep introducing ourselves in the chat box, and I would like to encourage us all to listen and prepare our questions, because our speaker for today, he is a man of knowledge and is willing to share knowledge with us. This is like once in a blue moon opportunity. It's not an opportunity that will just come to you readily, because I actually believe it's a session that would actually motivate
Okay,
us.
thanks so much, Anima Bello. I'm back.
Right.
Network has been giving me some
Okay, welcome back, sir.
network has been giving me issues, but I think we are good to go now.
Okay.
So just let me know if you can see my screen, so I can be sure that I have people seeing my screen.
Okay, I can see the screen now.
Okay. So thank you. So like the topic on the flyer, collaboration, the catalyst for social impact. As someone that I have, let me say, a person that I have over 6 years experience working on social impact projects, basically on designing health intervention to solve to bring healthcare closer to people in marginalized communities. So I can say I have some experience when it comes to leveraging collaboration, partnerships to actualize social impact. But then I would love the session to be as interactive as much as possible. So if you have any experience to share at any point in time, you should feel free. So if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Is actually an African proverb, and it's quite important or relevant to many of us that are engaged in social impact work. I can remember, like, I think there was an application that I applied for. I think I applied to volunteer with that particular organization, and I think that was my first NGO that I worked for in 2017. So in my application, the man asked that, why do I want to work with his NGO? I can remember making use of this particular proverb to sell myself, or to sell the point that he actually needs a strategic goals. So if you want to go fast, you go alone. Like, sorry for the network issues. So as I was saying before, the network affected the presentation. So if you want to go fast, you go, and if you want to go far, you go with people that you have shared goals with, that also share in the vision of what you intend to do. So collaboration for social impact. Basically, collaboration is the act of working together, especially on a goal or shared project. That is, if you are collaborating with someone, the team involved or the persons involved are working to achieve a common goal on a project that they both have similar, let's say they both have like a shared purpose in that particular project. But that's when people would be committed in terms of their time, in terms of their resources, and in terms of probably finances to that particular project. So it has to be working together synergistically towards achieving a particular goal. So that there should be a goal in mind when you are collaborating. When you are forming like a team of 2 to 4 persons, you guys should have like an established goal. That's what we intend to achieve at the end of this particular activity. So you should have like a team, and then the activity, and then your outcome of what you intend to achieve. Collaboration requires establishing shared goals, like I said earlier, and then establishing clear communication networks. If you are collaborating with a team of people or with a particular organization or probably agency, there should be like a clear communication channel as regards what everybody is bringing to the table. Because collaboration works in a way that it should be a symbiotic relationship. That is, everybody coming together, bringing something to the table. Collaboration might be okay. It's like all the energy. It is one person that is putting forward all the resources to work on the project. So when everybody is bringing something to the table, it works much better. Taking it to the startup space, most times when you have co-founders, every co-founder in the particular startup have their own unique strengths. That's why we have like the CEO, the person that is in charge of, let me say, strategy, operations, and trying to work with other co-founders to take the startup or the company to the next level. We have the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. This person is in charge of finances, trying to make sure that there is funding and the funds gotten are used for their specific purposes. We have the CTO, to the Chief Technological Officer, that is in charge of probably the need to design an app, product design, website, and all of that. So everybody have to bring their unique strengths. Everybody has to put their best foot forward, and this is when we can have an impactful collaboration. So when you're having Mr. A doing something and then Mr. B is not doing anything, it will slow down the work. It will affect the outcome. Like the African proverb that I quoted earlier, that I said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with a team of motivated and committed persons. But then if you are in a team and then you are not committed, you are not, let me say, you are not taking it as a shared vision, you would slow down and then you affect the efficiency of what the team or for the group of people are trying to achieve. So while you're trying to collaborate, you should look for people of diverse strengths. You should look at what you have and what you are actually looking for. So you look for persons, or let me say organizations that have what you are looking for. So that, and then reaching out to, they must also have like a shared vision in what you are trying to work on. That would actually make the collaboration kind of let me say more impactful, because when they are also committed to that particular cause, they are ready to put in their resources and not to actualize that particular project. So like I'm sure some of us are actually familiar with the word. The new trend is collaboration. Collaboration is the new competition. So we need to realize that our best individual effort cannot solve today's complex problems. Like we know, we have like our problems are kind of complex and interconnected. So we need people to forge partnership, to forge collaborations, so that we can all bring in our unique and diverse strengths to solving today's complex and global problems. So instead of trying to compete, probably you have like an NGO, or let me say a social enterprise, or you have like a project that you're working on, and you know someone that have the same idea or that's working already in that line. There's no need for competition. The best thing is for us to come together. Let's collaborate. Let's see how we can put our strength together to achieve our common goal. And I'm sure we are familiar with the sustainable development goals, and the one that is quite peculiar to what we are discussing about this evening is the SDG 17, partnership for the goals. Even at the global level, they understand the relevance, they understand the importance of partnership. That's why the last Sustainable Development Goals talk about partnership for the goals. That is, we all should come together as individuals, as corporate bodies to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. So it does not, it is not about you're working on SDG 4 or 5 or you have specific ones that you're working on. Collaboration is quite important for us to achieve the SDG goals. So collaboration for social impact. Collaboration allows us to tackle a common problem by bringing together different perspectives and skills. Like I said earlier, when you are trying to collaborate with someone or with an organization, you need to bring people of different, diverse skill sets, expertise, and perspectives. By mobilizing resources from different partners, we get things done more efficiently, effectively, and sustainably. So it's quite important that we try to mobilize people, we try to mobilize resources for efficient collaborations. So going about collaborations, the most important when it comes to collaboration is the people that you are trying to bring together. You need to make sure that you are bringing people of common passion. Like I said earlier, one thing that is most important when it comes to collaboration is mutual interest, mutual passion. This is what that will create energy and momentum around opportunities for us to collaborate. So if you are bringing, like for instance now, if you are working on a project on, let me say, climate change, if you want to collaborate with persons or with corporate bodies or with organizations, or let me say if you're even seeking for funding as a part of collaboration, the people that would show more interest or that would be the suitable people to collaborate to collaborate with are people that are working in that line or that intend to work in that line, that they have common or let me say mutual interest in that particular field or in that particular discipline. So this will create a lot of energy and commitment to achieving that particular set goal. Like we said earlier, the essence of collaboration is for people to come together for them to achieve a specific and a set goal. So how can I go about collaboration? You need to actively build networks. So you need to leave your comfort zone. That's why you can reach out to people. You guys will talk about stuff and you guys can collaborate on projects subsequently. I'm very sure that most of us, when we are applying for international and competitive programs, we often write in our application that like probably for the motivation letter, why do you want to attend? We talk about we want to build our networks, we want to expand our networks, we want to for future partnerships on this and this and that. So it is quite important that if you want to leverage on the power of collaboration, you should be intentional about building and expanding your network. So this can be done by going for conferences, hosting events, and being intentional about expanding your networks. And this can also be done via social media. That is, you don't need to be there physically. You can leverage on social collaboration via social media platforms. Personally, I would advise us to take our LinkedIn serious because personally, I benefited so much from LinkedIn as a professional. Even as a freelancer, I've gotten gigs on LinkedIn, countless ones on LinkedIn. So it's quite important that we are strategic about even beyond the physical gatherings, which might not be entirely possible. Most times, we can leverage on the social networking or social collaborations. LinkedIn is very, very important. If you're on this platform and then you are not yet leveraging on LinkedIn, I don't know, you are OYO, you are on your own, really. So you need to be quite intentional about building your online portfolio, because one thing that will make collaborations easy for you on LinkedIn is if you have an optimized profile, if you have a very strong profile, people will want to connect with you. People will want to network with you. You get, because when you send someone, oftentimes when you send someone a message on LinkedIn, the first thing they will go and look at is your profile. And if they see that your profile is not caching enough, or they don't find you of interest, they might even air your message or not even reply at all, or not reply as you wanted, or reply as appropriate. So beyond learning gadgets, beyond conferences, beyond workshops, we can also leverage on social collaborations via online platforms. There's a particular collaboration that I got recently via attending the Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene annual meeting in Liverpool. We just finished a program recently by Nigerian Medical Student Association, which the program is International Public Health Symposium. So we were able to partner with International Health, like that is the official journal of Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, to facilitate the research workshop. By the way, I currently work with them as a reviewer, so I was able to facilitate that particular partnership for them to support the research workshop via my attendance at the annual meeting last month. So I was able to even get the opportunity to be a reviewer with International Health via attending that particular program. But I was able to network with the editor-in-chief, and we were able to talk about a couple of things, because we have, let me say, more interest on some particular things as regards our research. So you need to leave your comfort zone. You need to actively build networks, and then you can just have the networks for now, and because you might not be so sure of what you actually want to do as regards your project or anything that you might later do. But then if you have your networks like ready, you can always reach out to them when you have anything that you want to work on, or if there are opportunities from their own end, they will be able to reach out to you, and you guys can work or collaborate. Investing in networks, whatever form it takes, strong collaboration emerges from establishing the relationships and support. So you need to build a very strong rapport or a very strong relationship with individuals and organizations that you intend to collaborate with. Because most often people tend to turn up more for people that they already have a relationship with. Like, you can't compare someone that you can't compare an organization that you've been in touch with like for a couple of months compared to someone that you are just reaching out to them for the first time. So by virtue of the fact that you built that relationship, you've established and built and nurtured the relationship. Whenever you want to call for any support or anything, they would reply your emails like within minutes, compared to you reaching out to them for the first time. So you need to be quite intentional about investing in networks and building relationships with relevant persons, individuals, and corporate bodies. So when you invest in networks, and if it is done intentionally, it creates rich opportunities for subsequent collaborations. So when it comes to collaboration, the power of your networks is quite important. And I've spoken about we going like the physical networking and then the social networking. We can explore any of those platforms or any of those routes when it comes to networking. But one thing that is quite important is before you network, one thing that's quite important is before you seek out for collaboration, try to create or establish some form of relationships. So this will make collaborating quite easy for both parties. Am I still audible enough?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, awesome. Aligning early on common values and goals simplify decision making for the rest of the collaboration. Like I've spoken about this earlier, clear communication on roles is critical. It's very, very, very important. So collaborating with group of people, or let me say you are partnering or collaborating with another organization, everybody roles has to be communicated clearly so as to avoid issues going forward. Because the absence of clear expectations and rules can be corrosive, can be dangerous to collaboration. That's when a particular organization would be doing something that your own organization is actually meant to do. So you have to have like clearly stated rules and expectations from each of the partnering organization. So this has to be done as appropriate as possible. So the roles of every partnering organization should be stated clearly that everybody would be able to follow suit and follow as appropriate. The forms of collaboration for social impact, we have the team collaboration. This works with you've identified a problem or a pressing challenge in your community. You are trying to form like a team of people that you will work together with. You are trying to look at, oh, I have this particular skill set. I need someone that is good with fundraising and sponsorship. I need someone that is good with advocacy. I need someone that is good with research. I need someone that is good with public speaking or something. Like you just try to have like a diverse team towards working on a social impact, towards working on a social impact project. And also, when you call for volunteers too, you're also trying to bring them into the team. But for social impact projects, you can have the core team. The core team might be people that are probably heading particular particular part of the project. And then you can also call for volunteers in which they will also be part, in which they would also be part of the team. So that means you guys have to have like a common, have to have like mutual interest and working towards a common goal. So for team collaboration, you have to make sure that everybody have what they are bringing to the table. There's no one that is just there for just being idle or not contributing towards the team success or towards the team progress. So it's quite important that you have a diverse team and people that are quite committed. That's why most time when they call for volunteers, they ask for people that have interest or passion for that particular cause and people that are quite committed towards working to achieve the organization's set goals and objectives. So collaboration for sponsorships and funding agencies. This is another form of collaboration for social impact. For instance, now, if you are working on a particular social impact project, probably like on healthcare, probably on bringing healthcare closer to people in underserved communities, and then you need to get sponsors. Another way to get sponsors is via collaboration. Because the thing is that some of the sponsors also they want to put their brand out there. They want people to know that they're also working towards supporting these cause. They also want to post these things on their media platforms so as for them to also get more partnership opportunities and for them to get more funding as regards that particular project or as regards what they're actually working on as an organization. So you can reach out to them. So you can actually reach out to them via collaboration and ask for support or ask for funds. I will share an experience. When I was in medical school, I was in 2019. I was director for capacity building for Nigerian Medical Students Association, and then and via my office we introduced the first like let me say health hackathon or let me say like is more synonymous to an health hackathon, and then we had to give so people would form teams and then present the ideas, and then we fund these particular ideas. And as director of capacity building, I had to source for sponsors and all of that. So knowing fully well that what they are trying to solve or what they are trying to work on is an health related challenge, because it was in the program highlight that they should tailor their ideas towards solving a pressing health issue in their community. So when I was trying to get sponsors, I looked at health organizations in Nigeria and even across and even beyond Nigeria, that I know that they have similar goals when it comes to the things that we are trying to address in that particular health challenge or hackathon. So I reached out to them by proposing a form of partnership for them to sponsor that particular project, or for them to support that particular program. So I wrote mails to up to 50 organizations. Then I think about 3 or 4 responded, and one actually funded us. That was ACL's initiative. We went to Abuja, we discussed and all of that. So they were able to. What I noticed was that when I reached out to them, they were also looking for how they can also put ACL's initiative in the spotlight as them sponsoring the particular project that I proposed to them. So when it comes to funding agencies or companies or international organizations, most often they are also trying to build portfolios, or let me say build something for themselves too. So when you reach out to them, they're also looking for how they can establish a win-win scenario for both parties, in which they will support your project and their own organization can also be in the spotlight as the sponsor for that particular program. So we're able to achieve that via partnering with them for them to officially sponsor that particular health challenge. And it's something that most people do. They look for sponsors, and via collaboration and partnerships, they achieve this particular goal. So at the end of the day, we're able to fund the ideas of people that for people that want the challenge, and they were also able to support us, and we were also able to promote ACL initiative in our own way during the conference. So it's quite important when you're trying to source for sponsorship, you can approach them via collaboration and via partnerships. Another one is community collaboration. Now that you've identified that challenge, and then you are trying to go to the community to actualize or to work on the intervention that you are trying to provide to them. So while going to the community, what you first do is something that we call, but then before you actually do any social impact work, you need to do like a needs assessment. So you need to go to the community, try to know what they need, try to know what the problem is, because most times the problems on paper are not the realities when you get to these communities. So when you go to the community, you communicate with them, you interact with people, trying to know more about the issue and how best you can actually address the pressing issue in that particular community. So while doing your needs assessment, you need to meet with people, talk with them, and all of that. So when you now want to actualize that particular project, there's something we call community entry. So you first go and meet with the ballet, try to form rapport, because you can't just carry your team and then your sponsors to the community and say you want to start a health outreach, or you want to give them ball, or you want to do this and that. So you need to penetrate the community via collaboration. So you meet with the ballet, talk about your project and all of that, and now it will benefit the community and the potential impact that the project would initiate. So you meet with the youth leaders, you talk with them. Also, you also need them to be on ground to help with logistics and one or two things. Because when you are executing a project and they see their own people also like part of you, sort of, they would be more interested to listen to what you have, to listen to hear what you have for them, and accept what you have for them. So you need to also look for how you would collaborate with the stakeholders in the community for you to actualize your social impact project in that particular community. So I would have to stop at this point for now, so that I can get comments, questions before I start the other part of the presentation. And then if you have any experience to share as regards what our
Hello. Hello.
and have like a balanced discussion. So feel free to unmute yourself, share your experiences when it comes to collaboration or partnerships, either team collaboration or collaboration with sponsors and funding agencies, or collaboration with community to enhance community participation in terms of your project. Or if you have questions on what have been said so far, you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions or share your experiences.
Okay, so Ayamiko Wasilat has something to say. Ayamiko.
Yes, good evening, Alima.
Good evening, Ayomikun. You have the floor.
Okay, I really do not have a question. I just want to share my little experience about collaboration. So
Okay, awesome.
about 6 months ago, I had to participate in a national health assessment with other fan sites at the national level. Though all of us were from different schools, and we had about 48 hours to come up with our solution, that is the technological approach to solving a particular problem in the healthcare sector. So it was it was not really like very okay, but because everyone on the group had something to bring, I was not really familiar with the topic that was given though. But it was surprising how we came second. There was one person on the group who was very familiar with the topic. I was good with product designing and graphic design in general. Another person handled the Microsoft, and other people also had something like spectacular that they did, that they participated in the team, and it all like made sense after we projected our ideas to the panelists and the judges. And in the end, it came out very well because it came second actually. So it is really important to collaborate and bring ideas, what you have to the table. It's mean what you have may not really like solve the problem alone, but if we put resources with others, some people hoard what they have because of the fear of maybe they don't want to share with others, or they don't want others to know that they know they have these things. So it is important to like give what you have, then you have opportunity to learn from others to what they have brought to the table. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, thanks so much, Ayomikun Asilas, for that brilliant take. And then thanks for also sharing your perspective as regards the topic that we are discussing about. And then congratulations on your being second in that particular competition. So like you said, you also shared let me say, another perspective to what we've been talking about the fact that when you collaborate, it's also an opportunity for you to learn from others in the team, because everybody that come together have diverse strengths, have diverse experiences, have diverse perspectives, have diverse opinions on issues, have different level of exposure. So when you're working with people in a team trying to collaborate, you kind of hear from everybody, and then you guys would harmonize what everybody have said or what everybody is bringing to the table before you guys would act. So it's also a platform for one to learn from one another. So we entertain one or two more experiences as regards collaboration. I'm sure that almost everybody in this platform have collaborated and worked in a team at one point in time or the other. So let's hear your experience so that we can also learn. Because I believe learning is vertical. You can learn from the facilitator, and then the facilitator can also learn from your.
I can't hear the speaker anymore. Am I the only person?
No, same here.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Okay. Any other person that wants to share his or her experiences when it comes to collaboration?
Okay, so I would like to share mine. This was like sometime last year. So there was this IPSF program on World Diabetes Day. So we were like asked to form a team of people and all of that. I'm not actually very close to my classmates, but I actually really wanted to participate in the event. So I actually have to like think of people that I feel would be interested and people that have people that are intellectual enough to participate in the event. So I was able to reach out to a couple of them. Then we came together as a team, and I was able to learn from them really. And from what Wasilat actually said about people not sharing the knowledge they have because they feel like they don't want other people to know they have it. I kind of have some other perspectives to it. Like now in the team we are, there was a person. This person is an intellectual person, but he doesn't show it that he's stuffy, like he has things in his head like that. Probably because he fears it's not enough, or it fears because the reception that people will have towards the event. So from the team collaboration, I was able to learn two things. I was able to gain more knowledge on diabetes. I was able to network better with these persons because I don't really talk to them often. And I was able to understand that some people are actually very, very intelligent, very, very stuffy, but they don't actually express themselves because they are afraid of the reception or that people will have of it.
Animat, it seems you are still talking, but you are muted or you are done.
Oh, I'm done talking.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much. Oh, so she buttressed what the earlier person that shared experience talked about. So she spoke about the fact that when you work in a team, you're able to express yourself, you're able to express your ideas, and everybody's able to understand your perspective and then put it into planning when you're trying to work on something. So as and all of this as it relates to social impact, when you form a team, everybody will come up with ideas on how to go about uh, to work, or let me say to provide or design an intervention for a particular social challenge, or for a particular social problem. So when everybody bring ideas to the table, when people put resources together, we're able to achieve this and then have a wider impact. For instance, now when if you plan to work alone, you'll be limited to your energy, you'll be limited to your resources, you'll be limited to your knowledge. So when you add more people to the team, you are able to bring everybody resources, knowledge, networks, and all to be able to achieve something that will have a wider impact and that would be more and more sustainable. It seems someone was raising his hand. If you are the person, feel free to share your experience too. I think that's all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, good
It's a
evening.
it's a pleasure to have you on today, and I want to just chip in and say that most of the times I think collaborations could be quite challenging and tasking because Okay, from a personal experience, okay, early this year, I think somewhere around April, during the ASU strike, okay, I and other members of my team, we won a mini grant from Leap Africa to carry out a mental health project in my school. Okay, I'm a student of University of Oyo, third year pharmacy. So the project was supposed to be for the whole school, like to carry the project out in the university community. So we had reached out to the student union to partner with them and let them know what the project is about. That we want to reach out to students that have been in the house for, I think that was about 4 months. And the student union didn't properly respond. They wanted to take the project and take the whole credit for the project, whereas we were working under an NGO, that's Leap Africa. So it was quite challenging, I must say. So that is why I think collaborations can be quite tasking. So I don't know if you have any useful tips to give as regards that. So I can do better next time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike Egoro, for that intelligent, intelligent summit as regards collaboration, and then talking from experience as regards the fact that collaboration can be quite or sometimes tasking. Personally, I've been in that, but I've experienced something similar like a couple of times trying to collaborate in which the person that you actually want to collaborate with might want to hijack the project. That happened a couple of times, in which they might want to hijack or take glory for that particular project. Because one thing is that when you are trying to partner with different organizations, they have different ideologies, their leaders, their mindsets and personality quite differ. So bringing them together and everybody working synergistically to achieve a common goal might be quite tasking. And that's where one have to, let me say, the main organization, the leader has to be quite, let me say, versatile when it comes to people's management and when it comes to handling and managing projects. Because the thing is, like in my presentation, in the slides, I spoke about everybody coming together to have like a clearly stated rules, and there should be rules and guidelines and expectation from every funding or sorry from every partnering organizations. So before you guys form or strike any partnership or strike any collaboration, there should be a meeting at first. Now, organization A might be the person that have the main idea, and then for them to catalyze or for them to have a wider reach, they want to partner with organization B, C, and D. So there will be like a call for a meeting for everybody to meet, and then you discuss about the project, the aims of the project, your targeted audience, what you are trying to achieve, and how you want to achieve all of this. So before you call for that meeting, the main organization should have ironed out like most of the details, at least have something like you are going to like you are giving them like a proposal that you've already written and that is clearly and that is written in very clear terms. So you also have to have a part where you also state what is expected of every organization and what you want them to bring to the table, and then there are specific rules towards that particular project. And then if money is involved, because that's another place where people might have issues when a particular person that you are bringing on board know that got a grant for this particular project, probably like £10,000 or $5,000. So you also state how the money, like the budgetary aspect, might cause some kind of issue. So you have to clearly state all of this when you are trying to reach out to them. If there will be honorarium or money for resource persons or something. Everything has to be clearly stated. Or you also present the budget to them so they can also know where money is going per time you get. So I believe this can be addressed by the person leading the team to have like a good management skill, like someone that is vast and that experience or prior experience in managing projects and in managing people. But then beyond all of that, you have to have like a clearly stated guidelines, clearly stated document that states what is expected of everybody, the expectations from each partnering organizations or individuals. And then there are specific rules they are playing towards that particular project. I think with that, it can be abated to a reasonable extent. Hope I've been able to answer or give more clarity to your question.
Yes, yes, you have. But the main challenge here is that why I said it is quite tasking is okay. The nutshell is that after we had presented our proposal to them, they saw the proposal and not that we wanted money, we just wanted to be a partner. We just wanted them to be partner with us because it was for an NGO. So what they did was actually to go behind our back, do a similar project like that with a similar name, with the project name that is similar to that which we had proposed. And the whole thing was like, I don't know, but so that was just it.
Okay. I think I get your perspective for that. And those are like one of the cons when it comes to funding for partnerships and all of that. But then depending on what you are working on, if it was like a project now, like let me say like a startup, that's why most often people try to patent their idea or try to register their organization or try to do some form of let me say documentation when it comes to some specific ideas or some specific projects you get. So it's an issue like that happens often. Like you see, you are trying to work with someone, and then you wake up the next day, they have already designed something and all of that. So from the what I think can be done is that if it was like a let me say like an idea or prototype, you have to patent it. You have to patent such unique or novel intervention or project in the sense that you can probably sue them or something. But then in the case that it's more of a project, that's why you also have to be, let me say, strategic when it comes to partnerships. In terms of being timely, because they kind of, let me say, leverage on the fact that probably you guys probably need resources for you guys to actualize, your project. You get so they rely on the fact that they have the resources, they have the school support, they even have the audience to push that particular project. So uh, when it comes to project activities, you have to be timely, you have to be very strategic when it comes to all of this, because even beyond that, there is no monopoly of good ideas. You might even see an individual or an organization doing something that you intend to do. You get it might not be it might not come from the fact that they probably stole your idea or something. It's just that they also have that similar thing in mind. So when we are trying to execute any project, let's try to be timely. Sorry, the network logged me out. So collaboration is not as easy as it seems when you see it in paper or when you see it displayed on billboards or CD flyers. You get it requires a lot of commitment, dedication from individuals and partnering organizations. So we'll continue with what we have so that we can finish the presentation. So thanks to everyone that have shared one or two things as regards their experiences. So drivers of collaboration, we have austerity, we have impact, we have complexity, we have caution, and then we have systems. So I'm sure that we might not fully understand what all of this entails, but then we'll just go briefly to what all of these entails, because we are talking about collaboration being a catalyst to achieving social impact. So austerity is quite simple. It means we have to make better use of limited resources and combine efforts. Everybody comes together trying to bring their resources together, combine efforts, combine energy, combine networks to maximize output, but then with minimal input. Impact. Impact works from the effectiveness approach. With collaborations, we can achieve a collective impact. For instance, now, if you are working on something, or let me say, SDG, probably for example, you are working on quality education. You're trying to solve your issues of education in a particular.
Where did she go to? This is it.
Let's move to ourselves, please.
Yes, because I want you please. Okay.
Okay, so I think we are good to go. So when it comes to like for instance, probably you're working on a project and then you reach out to organizations in probably in other West African countries that's working that have similar goals. Probably you have like funding, so you can reach out to them for partnership so that they can replicate that particular intervention that you are doing in Nigeria. It can be done in Gambia, in Ghana, in Kenya, and all of that at the same time. So you are achieving like a wider and collective impact. So without being in Ghana, without being in Kenya, your organization is also executing your project in that region in Africa. So via collaborations, it goes across and beyond borders. So it's not limited. You can work on intercontinent collaboration. You get so it's something that can be done. So you would reach a wider audience, and then with your organization being the frontier, as the case might be. So complexity addresses the social change argument, that is the social problem that you're trying to solve. To solve complex problems, we need to bring together different skills and expertise. You can't do it, you as an individual, you can't solve these issues, you need to work in a team to catalyze your intervention towards achieving social impact. Because when you bring people together, you're able to do things more faster and you are able to make smart decisions that would influence the project outcomes. Because this addresses the environment we are trying to impact. Collective effort is necessary to overcome a broad context of barriers. I spoke a bit about this when I was talking about the community collaboration of a film. You need to understand the culture of people that you are trying to bring your intervention to, that you are trying to provide something for. You need to understand from their own perspective how you can overcome any barrier that might affect your project. Okay, there is this particular example. There was an international NGO. They went to a particular village to do a project. They noticed that people in that community the children in that community, they go to the next community, which is like which takes like 30 to 45 minutes to go and fetch water, because they were not, because the issue that was perceived was that there are no boreholes in that particular community. So when this international organization came to the community, they did like boreholes in major parts, in major places of the community. But then after doing that particular project, they still noticed that that the parents were still sending their children to work like 30 to 45 minutes for them to go and fetch water. So when they now did like a deeper survey to know what the issue is, they now understood that the parents kind of send them to such distances when they want to have like a private time together. I know you already know what I'm trying to say. So they send them to to a long distance so that they can just be together and do whatever they actually want to do. So if they are doing like a form of needs assessment, they would have understood that their issue is not the ball. It is something different entirely that is not even in line with anything, water, and all of that. So it's quite important that we understand the community. We try to understand the culture, and so that we can do a project that is quite needed, that is quite relevant, that people would appreciate and use. That's how we can have like that's how our projects can have a long-lasting social impact in that particular community. Systems require that we address society problem in a systemic manner. Like I said earlier, you need to do like a needs assessment, you need to see reasons on how, and these drivers help us to see reasons. I mean, the drivers of collaboration that we've spoken about on how and why collaboration is very pivotal towards achieving or actualizing social impact. To succeed in collaboration, we need to approach strategically. Some important factors to consider include choosing collaborators carefully. We've spoken about this earlier. Choosing committed individuals and organizations, and establishing a proper communication strategy is very, very important for us to succeed in terms of. So the success of collaborative effort largely depends on commitment. That's like the most important aspect, like is the major ingredient when it comes to collaboration. Every individual, every partnering organization have to be motivated, have to be committed to that particular project. So we must be ready to work together to design solutions to the world's biggest problems.
Come back here.
And then we also have community platforms where we can collaborate. We have Team.org, we have taking, I know people that are leverage on, that used to taking it global. And like I said, I made mention of social media platforms. You can collaborate via link, you can reach out to people, build relationship via LinkedIn, via Facebook, via Instagram, and all of that for you to work on projects that would have a long-lasting social impact. Let me share another experience. At some point, I was working with the Value Female Network. I was the director of media and relations and all of that. So another way you can get partners, that you can get collaboration, is by investing in your social capital, is by being intentional about your online presence. You should take it very, very serious when it comes to your online presence. For instance, now, if you have like an organization that you are working with, or that you co-found or you co-own, you need to put your works out there. You need to post your stuff. You need to let people know what you are doing. You need to let people know what you are working on. With that, you can get access to collaborators, you can get access to sponsors, you can get access to anything. But then if you are working, you are doing a lot of social impact stuff, and then you're not posting, there's I know it is not about you posting really, but then when you post your stuff on social media platforms, it kind of inspires people, it makes people know the works you are doing. If they have something similar in that line, they can always reach out to you for collaborations, for partnership, to even support your activities. I've known a couple of NGOs that have gotten sponsors just by posting their stuff on Facebook, like just posting on Facebook. You just so sorry, the network logged me out again. But then we would continue. So I was talking about social collaboration. So you need to post your works, you need to document your works on media platforms. You need to have a website. You can't say you have an NGO, you have a social enterprise, and you don't have a website. You need to work on your online presence, because whenever you reach out for collaborations, you reach out for partnerships. Even while you're applying for global conferences or applying. Hello, I'm so sorry for the on and off. My network has been giving me issues. So we're actually almost done with the session. So we just continue, and then we go to the question and answer question for the final part. So can we still hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Oh, so sorry for the on and off. I will send the slides to Pharmacy Taiwo so that she can share with us. Because I'm now accessing Zoom via my phone, not my PC, so I might not be able to share my screen as appropriate. So I was talking about social media platform that we need to be quite intentional about documenting our works, even beyond uh, organizations, even with your personal works. If you have anything quite relevant to share, feel free to build your online portfolio. So benefits, which is the concluding part of our discourse tonight. Benefit of collaboration to actualize social impact. The first one is synergy, because working together collaboratively results in greater accomplishments as compared to each organization working or individual working on its own separately. So it results in greater impact, greater accomplishments. If you are supposed to, for people that are Christians, I'm sorry for using this illustration, but just to buttress the aspect of synergy, the Bible says one will chase a certain number, while two will chase a certain number. So to show that when it comes together, the sum total when it comes to your accomplishments or impacts would be greater. Sharing resources. When you're collaborating with another individual or trying to work on a collaborative project, you share resources that you don't have, they might have, and organization might actually have sponsors or some experts that you might need to execute some part of the project. Increase community awareness. By getting involved and by being part of a bigger organizations and groups, your organizational message is better relayed to the community. Like I said, you would have a wider impact because you can even collaborate. You can even leverage on collaborations outside the shores of the country. Probably like having something scaled to another particular region or particular community in a particular country. You get, so you are able to relay your message to a wider audience. So access to funding, partnering with other organizations can give you the benefit of more grant opportunities, as well as make bridge for more exposure. For instance, if your organization is partnering with another organization, it will give your own individual or let me say your own organization like a wider reach when it comes to branding, because it will give you like more visibility. Because if you have like five partnering organizations, and then everybody posts on their platforms that we are working on this project, we are trying to do this and try to do this for this particular community. We are trying to solve this pressing net need in one community in Imo State or something. And then you have people and then you are working with other organizations. You have like a wider reach when it comes to not even the impact itself, even the benefits for your own particular or benefits for your own specific organization, in which it can open doors for more opportunities when it comes to probably like getting free funded programs or grant opportunities. And another thing about collaboration is that it even opens rooms or makes you have access to more partnership opportunities and even access to more collaborations. Because when people see that you kind of collaborated with a particular person, or you collaborated with a particular organization, it makes people winning. Like it makes people more motivated to actually work with you towards their own projects, or when you reach out, they would eat easily to actually work with you. So it's actually a win-win in the sense that you are targeting or having a wider reach, and then you as an individual, or let me say your organization is also having a wider visibility, in which can definitely open doors for more relevant opportunities. So to conclude my session, I will go back to my first slide that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Thanks for having me. So let me know if we have questions so that it can be addressed as appropriate, and then we can call it a night. If you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you so much, Dr. Progress. That was an enlightening session. I'm sure we all learned one or two things. So participants, I would like to ask us, do we have questions for our speaker today? You can type in the chat box. You can raise up your hand. Okay, so while I wait for us to gather our questions, I would like to ask you this. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so over the time, you have been able to build quality relationship, and this has actually helped you a lot. So I would like to ask you, how have you been able to do it? What do you think is responsible for your quality relationships that you have built over the years, the collaborations you've had over the years?
Thanks for that relevant question. I think the one important thing is that before you collaborate, or before you try to build relationships, or before you reach out to people, you have to actually build yourself first. You have to make sure that you are someone that people would want to collaborate with. You have to position your organization that people would be willing to collaborate with you, because everybody is trying to look for people that will also add to them. So even as you are collaborating, you also bring something to the table. So if you are approaching someone and then you have little to nothing to offer, the chances of your proposal getting declined would probably be higher. But then when they actually check you out and they see that you are a person of substance, it would kind of open that door easily. Even when you network with people, for instance, now I'll be able to attend a couple of conferences, and then when I reach out to people to network with them so that I can build relationship, and I introduce myself, I tell them about what I'm like. I tell them about myself, probably like within 2 to 3 minutes. They are most times impressed that, wow, at being okay. That was when I was even an undergraduate. Yeah, they are impressed that, oh wow, even being an undergraduate, you are able to achieve all of this and all of that, and then you are able to work on this. Or despite being a medical student with a very tight schedule, you are still able to explore this and that. So there are most times geared uh towards you building a relationship with them. So you have to go there, like you have to go there with something so that they can know that you are someone that have potentials and all of that. So this will make networking, this will make building relationships quite easy, because nobody does not want people don't want people that would stress them and that would be asking and asking and asking. They also want someone that will be an asset in some way. So let's try to go there with value, and then we can also and with that we can also get value from the individual, or get value from the organization. I hope I'll be able to answer your question. Hello.
Yes, you have been able to answer my question. Thank you so much. So be a person of value, be an asset, not a liability. Work on yourself. That was the answer I was able to obtain. And I actually feel like it's a truth and an impactful one. So speaking of when you introduce yourself to people, what you have done before, and they're actually leaning towards collaborating with you. I would like to ask again, what other networking tips would you give us today? Because you're like future chain makers, aspiring chain makers. What networking tips would you like to give us?
Okay, I'll probably share like a personal experience, like probably from my most recent conference that I actually attended. So one thing that's quite important is that before you go for a particular conference or before you meet someone, okay, let me start from a conference perspective before I go to an individual perspective. For a conference perspective, if you are going for a conference, you should have a ready like you should have like a laid down conference networking strategy. So what I do is that when I'm going for a conference, I try to make sure that I have the conference pamphlet or the conference booklet. So I'm able to read about the speakers, read about the panelists, read about probably people that will be presenting or people that I might want to network with. So I try to read about their works. So what I do is that I go to LinkedIn, search for them, send the connection request, read about what they are doing. So with that, I'm able to filter people that I need to network with. Because when you are going for a conference, it's not just about networking. You have to be strategic with your networking. It's something I call strategic networking. Out of 10 speakers, you don't need to network with the 10 speakers. You just have to understand or look for speakers that are working in line with what you are doing, or they have something that would support or that will be of value to what you are doing. For instance, now, if you don't have anything doing with a particular panelist or speaker or particular person, you might not necessarily go through the stress of just having them in your network for having say. But then there's nothing bad with that. But then I kind of align more with strategic networking. So I try to look for this particular person is working on infectious disease and someone that I would love to have in my network. So I try to read about what they are doing. So when I actually approach them, I try to tailor my discussion to their interest, probably talk about infectious diseases or try to bring my own strengths in that particular topic so that they would be more willing to participate in the discussion, and they would be willing to even give their contacts and all of that for subsequent conversation. So you need to be quite strategic. Have like a conference networking strategy. Know which people that you want to network with and try to. And then when it now comes to the individual strategies, after you've read about the person, probably on Google, on LinkedIn, or on whatever platform that you can have access to, you try to work on, let me say, on an elevator pitch, like you're trying to pitch yourself. Because when you're networking with someone, for instance, for people that are into startups and all of that, when you are pitching, you're trying to pitch your idea. But then when it comes to networking, like personal networking, you're trying to pitch yourself. So you're trying to say something that would interest or wow the person that you're trying to network with. So you should have like an elevator pitch, like what you intend to say when you want to meet this person, you get. And it's something that you should practice often. So it will be something that it will just come effortlessly. It's not that you're trying to network with someone and then you're having a lot of process. And then you might not necessarily need to practice. If it's something that you'll be doing over time, it will be easy for you to just connect the dot and be able to sell yourself within a few minutes, and the person might have interest in your work or have interest in you personally. So you just need to be able to. So in a nutshell, you just need to be very strategic when it comes to networking, by having like a strategy when it comes to people that you actually want to network with, and trying to have like a form of an elevator pitch so you can easily relate or introduce yourself to people, and they can also see that you are coming from a place of value. That will make networking easier for you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So, guys, be strategic. Have a plan. Have an elevator pitch ready. I think it's not usually more than a minute or so. So, work on how you want to do that. So that way, your value would be realized early, and people will be leaning towards networking with you. So, like nowadays, we have a lot of a lot of young people that are into becoming founders, co-founders, like, and now you're like a co-founder of Vertex Research Hub. How do you feel about being a co-founder? And apart from co-founding the organization, and apart from volunteering and founding an organization, what other ways can one contribute to social impact? That's the second question. Then third would be like, what advice would you give to young people who are founders or aspiring to be founders?
Okay. I think I would start with your last question about my advice for people that want to be founders or trying to work on something. The thing is that when it comes to social impact, when it comes to social, or when it comes to NGOs, it is not like it is not like a must that you should have your own NGO. You can actually volunteer if you see an NGO that actually kind of work in line with your interest. It is not like you should just wake up and then because nowadays you have a lot of NGOs doing virtually nothing. They are pumped towards the first activity. They do the school outreach, and after that they go on a very long break for like 2 years. There's nothing happening. Even the group page will be silent. So it's not just about starting an NGO. You need to be quite convinced. You need to be quite motivated that you really want to start an NGO, that you really want to start this thing, that you have the required skill sets, you have the required team for you to run this particular initiative. So to me, it is not about you just finding an NGO. You should try to volunteer first. And when you volunteer, you're able to understand how things work. You are able to build capacity. You are able to acquire some specific skill sets. Because now, for you to be an NGO founder, you have to have some basic skill sets like grant writing, advocacy, lobbying, project management. So you can't just wake up and say you want to start an NGO. It is going nowhere, like literally. So unless you have people in the team that have this expertise and all of that, because that's also something that collaboration can help in some sort of way. But then what is quite important is that it is not just about funding NGOs. If you have seen an NGO that works in line with what you actually want to do, you can just volunteer and then you can work with them as director of partnerships, director of something you get. So it's not necessary that you should have your own NGO. But then if you are quite motivated that and convinced that you want to start your NGO, you should try to develop relevant, or you should try to take online classes, try to volunteer with bigger organizations so you can know how things are done and you can be able to implement some of these things in your own newly funded organization. So what is most important is it is not just about funding NGOs or starting your own social impact. You can volunteer, and even as volunteer, you can also access opportunities. Because one thing is that some people kind of start their NGOs because they believe that it is only NGO leaders that get access to free funded opportunities, and which is a lie. You can just be a volunteer and be working in a particular capacity, and it just depends on how best you sell yourself when you are working on your application. So it's not just about starting an NGO. You need to be quite convinced and make sure that it is what you actually want to do, not just because of peer pressure or because of opportunities. It is because you've identified a particular problem in your community, and then you've built capacity for you to solve that problem, or you are trying to bring a team of people that would solve that particular problem. And it's not just about you trying to replicate what is being done before. So you have to make sure that you are bringing something unique to the table. So that's for the last question. And then for your other question that talks about how I feel being a co-founder of Vertex Research Hub. Did I get you right on that?
Yes.
Okay. So for that, it actually comes with a lot of responsibility and commitment towards making sure that the organization is actually doing what it's supposed to do, and then make sure that we have programs that are actually impacting people. It's not just about having NGOs or having organizations. You have to make sure that you are able to review the impact of what your work is doing. You are able to collate your program activities, you are able to assess the impact that are we really making impact? Are we really reaching out to our targeted audience? Are people really aligning with what we are actually doing in this particular organization? Because it's not just about starting, you have to be sustainable. Because where most people have issues with sustainability, because I said that some people just start an organization, do the first project or the first program, and then subsequent times they are nowhere to be found. So you have to work on sustainability. And then one thing that affects most NGOs is funding. So if you're able to go about how you can let me say funding and let me say expertise. So once you don't have like expertise to run an organization, it will most likely fold up. Or when you need funds and resources to actualize your project, and then funding are not coming, grants are not coming, people are not really supporting, so you might not actually go on. So it actually involves a lot of responsibility, dedication, commitment, and even learning and relearning, so that you can stay updated and you can stay true to the services that you're actually providing. So it's not just about the title, really. It's about what you guys are doing to make people get better. It's about what the impact that your organization is actually doing. It's about the services that you are providing to people. And then most importantly, to make things easier, you need to leverage on collaborations so as to get your work done in a very efficient, reliable, fast, and sustainable way. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. It has really been an enlightening session. And since our participants, do anyone has any question to ask? Okay, so if not, we would like to conclude the session here with closing remarks from our speaker.
Okay. I actually really appreciate Farmer Incubation Hub for the opportunity to interact with young pharmacists across the country. And then I think this is like my third session, like when it comes to facilitating workshop with Farmer Incubation Hub, and then we've built relationship like over time, and I appreciate the privilege to share one or two things with the participants, and I hope we're able to get one or two things and we are able to apply it in our respective projects and in our respective social impact activities. So I hope to see the impact, and I hope to network with some of you subsequently. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Progress Agbola, Facebook Progress Agbola, Instagram Progress_MD, Twitter Progress_MD, and let's keep the conversation going. So thanks so much once again.
All right, thank you so much for honoring our invite, and thank you so much for speaking and teaching us and enlightening us. So guys, be strategic, be of value. When you collaborate, you're open to more grant opportunities, you're open to more partnerships, you're open to even more and better collaborations. So guys, and whatever it is we learned today, I actually believe we learned a lot. So we should always try to apply what we learned today in our lives, in our strategic lives, as you are planning your career and personal life. Be strategic about it, and also try to optimize your social media. LinkedIn is there for you. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for attending our session, Doctor. I wish us all a pleasant night.
Okay, thanks so much.